Hello, welcome into the circle. I hope you can find a little comfort, find a little ease, wiggle your way into a spot that feels just right for you. And let's do a new moon reading. We have a new moon coming up, as you probably know, new moon in Cancer, July 14th. And new moons are just such a great opportunity for letting go of what no longer serves us and looking into the changes we need to make to do better, to grow. Um, it's also a really good time to be lost, to be uncertain, to be without a lot of guidance. And that's why I really like tarot card readings around a new moon, because that light of that new moon is not very bright yet. It's been the light on the path has been waning, and so sometimes you can lean in a little bit. So I may do a couple of new moon readings, just because you never know. There's so many different parts of our life that the cards can speak to and shed light on. So I'll whatever I'm motivated to do, I will put up there. So I'm going to do a 5 card oracle draw, and one of those will be what I call the power shot, which is like the oomph, and then a shadow card. And then I'm also going to do an embrace, accept, and release for the new moon cycle. And then also a power shot and a shadow card for that as well. So I did a couple of private readings before this. And just so that you know, if you're like Elizabeth, you did not shuffle those cards very well. After every reading, I cleanse my decks. We clear everything. We start fresh, just so that we can come to it with a new energy. So here we go. All right, new moon reading for the collective. Please send a message that we all may hear. New life. I mean, okay. Water. Been getting a lot of water in readings lately. Affluence. Boy, I sure do like seeing that card. And the power shot, divine masculine, reversed. And our shadow card is courage. Oh, folks. So, well, I said I was doing it for the collective, right? So if you know anything about astrology, and I know a little bit about astrology, and if you probably know more than I do. And if I make mistakes, please forgive me, and you can correct me in the comments, and please direct people to, someone who can share more than I can. There's a lot of great astrology content out there. So there's a planetary alignment that's pretty big that's happening on the 4th of July. And this planetary alignment is some slow moving planets, and there are some pretty significant happenings that have occurred on the last few alignments. Okay, so this feels kind of big, and I've gotten some kind of big readings lately, so we're just going to roll with it. New life. We're starting over. Something new is coming, and it's coming. So I don't read reversals as the opposite of what's going on. I usually, it's a card that's upended, and sometimes it's, what's coming at you, right? And this is the head of that new life coming at you. Same way a baby is born, head first. That's what's coming at us right now. That new life. Water. Water finds its own level. Water is cleansing, and it is purifying, and it can have a lot of emotion, and it can overflow very easily, and it can erode, and it can destroy, but it can also nourish. It can also bring forth life. So I have a feeling that we're going to have a flood, not a literal flood, but I think we're going to have a flood of things that sort of occur. One drop can have a ripple. Multiple drops condensed together. And the more that gather, the more change is created. And I feel like that's a really good sign, especially when sitting right here is affluence. And the thing about affluence, this is the solitary drop. This is the many. This is the collective. This is what everyone coming together in this new life and this awakening and this expansion to make change happen. Divine masculine. The divine masculine is structure and systems and order. And I think we all know that right now there's a lot of disorder and things are not very well structured. They're not very stable and the systems are somewhat broken. And this divine masculine right there, and being logic and order and stability and structure have been upended. And y'all, it's going to take some courage. How brave do you feel right now? Okay, let's pull some tarot cards and see where we go next. If you're active in TarotTube or the tarot community in the different social media circles, I pretty much stick just to YouTube. I find some of the other things toxic, but that's not what's important in this conversation right now. Nine of Pentacles fell out. And isn't she home and stability and togetherness and resources and all things foundational? If you're in the tarot community, then you have surely heard these messages by other tarot readers. And as a reader, I love to interact with and connect with and watch other readings and other readers. And it's the wide variety, the wide variance that we have. Like everybody just has their own way and their own way of channeling and their own way of messaging. And I'm just wildly intrigued by how we're all the little drops, and together we make up quite the interesting collective, and we're eclectic and supportive, and it's just great. Okay, one more please. Well, that didn't go out. Okay, so they're all flying everywhere. That tells me they need another shuffle. I had to pause and stop and shift everything to get the dropped cards, but I think we got it. And I went ahead and shuffled just a little bit more. These cards, it's the Biddy Tarot, and I love them. I love the pictures. I love how beautifully simplistic they are. They really distill down to the core of the card. My OG is the Radiant Wise Spirit. That's my workhorse stack, but I really like this one when I just need a breath. I just need to not have the clutter, to just look at the shape of things. And I really like this. Okay, one more time. This is the this is the draw for, I had two that sort of flung themselves out, but that was my fault. But then I had one, and the one that came out that flew out on its own, that was Judgment. So we got two overlying cards here. We've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Judgment, and those are sort of the color with which the reading is painted. Strength. This is what we embrace as a collective, what we accept as a collective. The devil, the distractions, we accept that they exist. And what we release is the King of Cups. all of these pulled right side up, which impresses me. Our shadow card. There's our upside down. Underpinning everything, the lies, the liars. It's really interesting to me in being a part of the tarot community. I really enjoy those other readings. I really enjoy the other, just the other accents that everyone speaks and the different languages that we communicate in terms of how we read. And there's always something that I find a new perspective on, that I go, oh, that clicks for me. That hits the tuning fork in me. I heard someone the other day, I don't know how I'd missed it up until now, but I heard Seven of Swords. That's a thief. That's someone stealing away with something that belongs to someone else. That's someone obfuscating. That's a liar. And isn't all of this interesting when we're talking about systems and structure and order, and our shadow card underneath everything, the foundation of all of this new life, of the courage that we need to find the affluence, the togetherness. Sometimes it's not about the word. Sometimes it's about the picture. Is the liars. I don't know about you, but sometimes a reading gives me goosies. And I got them. Okay. So what we embrace is strength and fortitude and using power in a positive and respectful manner, with kindness, with compassion, and with control. That, my friends, is what we embrace. What we accept is the devil. Okay, I was worried about the nudity for a second. We accept the distractions. Those chains, we can take them right off. We accept that they're going to exist. We accept that they're there. And sometimes we accept the doom scrolling that we're going to do. But they're just distractions. They're low vibration. And we release this emotion. I find this card particularly interesting. In a very roundabout way, I have found my way to going through my decks individually and really sitting with them and doing a study. And the first time I did a study, it took forever. And I didn't like it. And the second time I did a study, I really liked it. And I did push it a little bit. And anyway, I tend to personify the things that I have. I personify my decks. This is Horus for the Eye of Horus, and my team, whoever is talking to me, that's my chorus. So it's Horus in the chorus. And my Radiant Wise Spirit deck, that's V, for a very specific reason. The name means something to me. The Biddy Tarot, as my dog is barking in the background, and I apologize. The Biddy Tarot I don't have a name for yet, and I'm sure I will come up with one. I haven't sat with it enough and worked with it enough yet. I still like to work with my decks when they're new. Anyway, I digress. The King of Cups. So I've gone through on this second and third round of a deep study of the tarot cards. I've personified, and I've found not just an archetype like Ethany does, but I've really found the person that calls to me. And this one cracks me up because this one hit me at 1 a.m, just 12, 13, 14 hours ago. And so this one, if you've seen The Traitors, especially the US version of The Traitors, and Alan Cumming, and he is just that over the top and supportive and controlled and emotionally engaging, but also held. And it also reminds me of I don't know what. Mandy Patinkin. I don't know if you've seen that Mandy Patinkin has a podcast. And if you are too young to know who Mandy Patinkin is, you may know from The Princess Bride. He was Inigo Montoya. Kill My Father, Prepare to Die. He's much older now, and he has a podcast that he and his wife do with their son, Gideon, and it's highly entertaining. It's very enjoyable. I'm not a big podcast person, although I've started to be, but something about Mandy Patinkin and his joy and his open vulnerability with his emotions and with his there's just something about him. So I know it's weird, I know it's odd, but there's about the emotional expression that is contained and controlled, but it is also free. And that is what I think of the King of Cups. So both of those, drama. They're both drama. And one is definitely over the top and is leaning heavily into the character, and the other has played characters. And so for that, I just say drama. So we release the drama and the emotion around the drama. We don't need that anymore. Judgment, folks. And then the overarching Nine of Pentacles. And isn't that a beautiful, foundational, restful, and restorative place to be? And isn't that what we're all wanting? Isn't that what we're all deserving of? Not to get political, but there's something going on, and that change has been coming. And whether this planetary shift is the thing that shocks everything into place, sets it off with a boom of fireworks happening on July the 4th, which will be very interesting. I'm going to try and get this uploaded, and I don't know that anybody's going to see it because my channel is still very small, and I'm very okay with that. But it will be interesting to see if anybody goes back. So if you come across this later, today is July the 2nd, and it is 3:01 Central Standard Time. It will be very interesting to see what happens. And I think the world is going to be in a little bit of a different place. And whether it happens with that big boom or whether it is just moving the needle, because all it takes to push that pendulum back into swinging the other way is one small little thing. There was the shot that was heard around the world. A shot in comparison with the world. Sometimes that's all it takes, is just one drop to create the ripples in the pond. But we got to have courage to face this new life. Friends. Can I call you a friend? If you're here in the circle, I kind of feel like you are. Circle mates. Tarot tube. Community. Collective. We're being called. And I think we just need to be brave in how we answer the call. Together. You can't do anything alone. We do it together. Thank you for being here. I wish you well.